So you want to learn how to get more appointments? Whether you work in B2C or B2B, I'm going to share with you my top 5 ways to book you more appointments that's enabled me to earn big commissions to close more deals. I can normally book between 1 to 5 appointments per day, which equate to about 30 per month. And it really depends on how hard you work to enable yourself to hit those numbers. But let me quickly manage some expectations. It's going to be really tough. It's going to push you to your limit, and most likely you're going to feel like giving up. But don't worry, the rewards are really worth it. So step number 1 is you need to build your list. If you want to get more meetings, you need to structure your time properly. You can't research on the internet, find a website that may match your customer type, make the phone call, then repeat. It's just going to take forever. That process will just take forever and you won't make as many phone calls. So the best way to book as many meetings as possible is to build your list. You need to have a prepared list of numbers that you can simply pick up the phone and then move on to the next one. You may need to block out a few hours of the day before you build this list so you can rock it the following day. Step number 2 is you need to block out time. One of the biggest problems with today's society is simply distraction. We have notifications on our phones, emails, social media apps, and more. We're bombarded with so many notifications that distract us from the work that we're on. Therefore, the best way to book more appointments is by focusing on a solid block of time in your day to do nothing but make phone calls. Now, it's not easy saying, I'm going to block out 2 hours to make these phone calls. You need the tools and the strategies to keep you focused. So tip number 1 is you need to completely turn off your computer and have a printed piece of paper in front of you containing a list of all the numbers. So when you have this ready, you won't get distracted with the internet and all those notifications ringing. Tip number 2, you need to have a physical countdown timer. I used to use a digital countdown timer on my computer, but it's not really effective as having a physical countdown timer that you can just adjust and you can look at. So I bought this countdown timer on Amazon. It only cost me about $20, but since having this, it's enabled me to really stay focused on the task at hand. So you can just adjust the countdown timer there, press the button, and you're good to go. This will stick on the whiteboard and it will always give me an indication of when time is about to run out and I can just really start my work. Highly recommend for you to have a countdown timer that's in the physical realm. Tip number 3 is you need to turn off notifications on your mobile and any other devices. So every time someone posts something, likes something, comments on something on social media, your phone's going to notify you and suddenly your concentration is simply going to break. So when you turn off all these notifications, you won't lose focus and can easily make those phone calls. So when you follow these 3 tips, you're going to increase your focus and you're going to build this valuable habit of staying focused. So once you're in the zone, you'll be finding yourself making more phone calls. You're not going to be distracted and you're going to be hitting your numbers. You'll be able to book more meetings and earn a lot more money too. And step number 3 is that you need to have a script. You probably already knew this, but you need to have some sort of structure in your calls. Now, I don't recommend for you to have a word-for-word script where you can use whenever you make a phone call. What I recommend for you to have is some sort of structure that you can follow when making these phone calls so it doesn't sound too robotic. You want your phone calls to be fluid, spontaneous, and matching to the other person's personality, right? I made the mistake in the past where I felt that by simply following a script, it's going to give me a 100% success rate, but quite simply, it's not the script, it's how well you adjust to the person that you're speaking to on the phone. So let's say that you've got your script and you make the call, fantastic. The person on the other end is probably very chatty and starts to share with you their stories of the day. The question is, are you going to stop the person from talking and move straight into your script? Or do you want to continue having this conversation and get to know the other person and then pitch later on? So I always make sure that I build rapport with someone by making sure that I'm fluid in the conversation and not being too robotic about my script. And what you want to do is you want to forget the script when you're talking to someone on the phone. But when it's time, then go back to your script and adapt to the responses. You're going to find that you're going to get more people liking you over the phone, and eventually they're going to be really wanting to help you book that meeting. And finally, step number 4 is just make the call. When you prepared yourself by building a list, blocking out your prospecting time, having your script, all that's left is just making the call. Now, this is the part where it can get very nerve-wracking, but you need to not take it so seriously. When you're too serious on the phone, you develop anxiety and you won't sound too friendly on the phone. Instead, your mindset should just be that you should just have a conversation with someone and just make the call. Anything can happen, and don't stress over these phone calls. You know, you could be stressing over a phone call, but when you make the phone call, the other person may not even be there. So it's important to just have the goal of just having a great conversation with the person that you're speaking with, so you don't put too much pressure on yourself to make the sale. When you focus on just having a conversation with people, you build massive rapport with strangers, and then you'll find yourself being able to book more meetings because they like you. Also, make sure that you hit high targets when it comes to making calls. If you find yourself making 100 phone calls and you get 3 appointments, then that's a 3% success rate, which is normal, especially if it's outbound, not inbound. Therefore, if you make 100 calls per day, that will mean that you'll get 14 appointments per week, which will equal to 56 appointments per month. I'm sure that with those 56 appointments per month, you'll be able to close at least 10% of them, which is 5 sales. So in conclusion, booking an appointment is a no-brainer. It just requires you to just organize yourself well and just making the phone call. And I would say that time management and organization skills is paramount when it comes to booking more appointments. You may be a really great salesperson or closer, but if you only just make 1 call per day, then you're not going to get very far compared to someone who's just constantly hitting high numbers when it comes to making phone calls. So ultimately, if you found this video helpful, please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. So if you want to learn about how you can increase sales, I'm offering a free book where it will teach you how you can increase your sales without cold calling. You can simply get access to this book by simply going to www.salesoctopus.com, or just go to the link on the bottom of this video, and you'll be able to get the book free of charge as soon as possible. So I hope you like this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.